Do you want to retire like a champ? Just like legendary basketball star Uncle Drew?
Don't do him like that, Uncle Drew!
You're already acing the game. You've got your dream ride.
Don't be slamming my door.
Sorry about that. You just did the same.
Gotta get the boys.
Your dream vacation and your dream team. And now you can make your retirement just as legendary.
I get buckets.
Get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
It takes a village to help somebody get their diploma. Changes your whole life.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
I've just been in an accident. What am I supposed to do?
Before you act, let me attack. I'm Nathaniel Mack. Call today, 333-MACK. You don't pay unless we win. Let's call Mac.
Let's call Matt.
Nothing to do this week? Don't miss another event. Go to blacksinsanantonio.com for our event calendar. The home of the largest business directory in San Antonio with an African American focus. Sign up today for our weekly e-blast and text message alerts. Help us make this a better community. Connect, empower, grow.
Because it matters to you, it matters to us. It is Black Video News with your host, Keith Scott. Black Friday Live, San Antonio. Here we go.
Thank you all for tuning in to Black Video News for this special report today. Now, there's a lot going on here in San Antonio, Texas, and I'm joined today by our very own president of the Texas Association of African American Chamber of Commerce. He's also the chair of the U.S. Black Chamber, Mr. Charles O'Neal. How we doing, Mr. O'Neal?
Thank you so much. Glad to be here.
Well, you know, Mr. O'Neal, I had to prepare myself today. I knew you were in town. Chris reached out to us here, and I wanted to sit down and have a conversation with you so that my viewers can have a better perspective of why you're here in San Antonio. But first, before we go into that, I want you to tell my viewers a little bit about the organization and then tell us why you're here in San Antonio, sir.
Well, the Texas Association of African American Chambers of Commerce is, for want of a better description, an umbrella organization.
Okay.
That represents the interests of the local black chambers in our state.
Right.
Coincidentally, to the other reason that we're here, this is that organization's 30th anniversary.
Okay.
So in 1988, those local chambers that existed at the time realized that they needed a voice in Austin because of the regulatory environment, that is those statutes that govern how black folk are able to access opportunities.
Yes, sir.
Came out of the state capitol.
Okay.
Well, it's a little difficult to get to Austin if you're in Houston or if you're in Dallas and something pops and you got to go testify the next day. And so, to their credit and in their wisdom, they realized that the most effective way for them to keep constant touch with what's going on in the Capitol was to create an organization to represent their interests. And so it's quite an honor to be afforded the opportunity to represent that organization. For a slight historical note, I like to trace the roots of the organization back to actually 1936, when an organization was created called the Texas State Negro Chamber of Commerce.
Wow, that's a rich history there.
It really is, and I try to make folk understand that in 1936, when the speed limit on Texas highways was probably 40, and driving while black was much more perilous than driving today.
Today, correct.
But these brothers and sisters were driving, crisscrossing across the state, starting black chambers of commerce. And so it is really a tremendous responsibility, but it is one that I enjoy.
Well, you know, Mr. O'Neal, you've actually kind of welcomed the challenge and you've been making an impact with the organization. But, you know, for my viewers, What are the challenges still? Okay, so here 1936, here we are 2018. What are still some of the challenges when we talk about the small Black African American business owners?
If you ask 99 business owners, what's the most crying need? You're going to say access to capital. That continues. You know the story, the history of our interaction with financial institutions. Redlining still prevails.
Pretty much so.
And so access to capital is always one. Access to opportunity continues to be a problem,
right?
Both in the public and the private sector. We spend a lot of time as an organization focused on public sector contracting because we can make the case that our taxpayer investment demands reciprocity.
Right.
And so we challenge state governments and county governments and municipal governments to be more responsive to those folk who finance their operation.
Okay.
And so that's continues. Access to capital, access to opportunity. And then in a fast-paced, spiraling economy, access to customers begins to be a problem because now everybody's trying to sell to Black folk. At one point, we had 100% capture rate on Black customers.
Yeah, we did.
And now everybody's after our customers, and we've proved that we're a reliable source for consuming dollars. And so,
and we are a reliable source when you look at the numbers.
No more than 5 cents of every dollar is spent with a Black. No more than 5 cents of every Black dollar is spent with Black-owned businesses.
Correct.
Well, that is insane.
But the number's different when we go across the street and purchase.
If we return 95 cents of every dollar we earn to the marketplace, then that means I'm betting against you. That means I think that there is some video production facility someplace else that I'd rather give my money to than give it to Mr. Scott. That's crazy.
But we still do it though, Mr. O'Neal.
Well,
the perception hasn't changed.
Yeah, and it's because not enough folk tune into you, not enough folk listen to us, not enough preachers are preaching it.
Right.
It's an awesome responsibility, and all of us have some responsibility for changing that dynamic.
And Mr. O'Neal, and I want to stay right there where we are with this conversation because I was having a conversation with a family member, a kid growing up in the 70s in Detroit, Michigan, and everywhere that my father or mother took us, we went, it was Black owned and operated. We had cleaners, we had liquor stores, we had tire shops, we had mechanic shops, we had convenience stores, we had grocery stores, but we've lost that. We've lost it.
Absolutely.
Why have we lost it? Why are we not where we used to be? And it seems like there's no ownership amongst us.
Right. Clearly, a good bit of that can be attributed to the stereotypical response, integration. We decided that literally the white man's ice was colder than ours. That's a problem. When brothers came back particularly from Korea, when they knew they weren't going to move back into the hood because they had the GI Bill, they could live someplace else.
They had a resource.
Right. And so our communities, those very holistic communities that you just described, began to fragment.
Okay.
And when we left our communities, we didn't take our businesses with us. We left them there with fewer customers, as we just described.
Yes, sir.
Fewer and fewer and fewer customers. And now these little husks of businesses are dotting down New Braunfels or Martin Luther King in Dallas or Third Ward in Houston. And there's nobody that lives there. There are no customers to support them.
Yeah.
And so
and do you think that because those demographics in those communities have changed too, though, right?
Absolutely. Well, we could probably talk for 3 or 4 hours.
We probably could about that conversation.
But I often, when I was in the newspaper business, I would describe black flight as white flight plus 20 years.
Okay.
So when white folks moved out, we moved in and backfilled those communities, and then we left too.
Yeah, we did.
Well, there are no vacuums in nature, so somebody backfilled in those neighborhoods that we left as well. Too often they weren't our children, and so in inner cities, and particularly in Texas municipalities, it's Hispanic, and now the phenomenon described or called generically as gentrification, it's young white folk moving back in those same neighborhoods that their parents left 45 years ago.
It really is. It really is.
And driving home values up, so Big Mama can't afford to stay there because the tax bill is too high now.
Yeah, and it's a lot of that going on here in this community, along with a lot of other communities across the country. When we talk about the African American community, what brings you to San Antonio, Mr. O'Neal?
We are here, as I mentioned, to commemorate 30 years of service to Texas Black Chambers and the businesses that they represent. But our annual conference is going to be September 27th and 28th, but we're going to play golf for those folks who are golfers on the 26th
of September.
Okay. And so we're really, really, really excited about it's like a family reunion. So all the local chambers from across the state, our chairman, Mr. Christopher Herring, has challenged each of them to have a representative slice of their membership in attendance at this year's conference.
Chris is always challenging
He is always challenging people. And he's done a great job for us as an organization.
He's doing a wonderful job.
And so we believe that we'll have a great conference, and we've got a great lineup of workshops and speakers, and I think that those folk here in San Antonio that perhaps aren't familiar or intimate with the work of the Black Chamber of Commerce should come out.
Yeah.
And if they've lost touch with those Black businesses in their communities, or if they're aspiring to be a business owner. And one thing was just a particular note this year, again, through Mr. Herring's active advocacy, a couple of our sponsors have made sure that we're able to scholarship college students to this year's conference. And so we expect that we'll have some students from here, clearly here at St. Philip's, other colleges, campuses here in this city, but Houston, Tilson, Texas Southern, and Prairie View at this year's conference. So we're really looking forward to that.
Yeah, and we'll keep our viewers informed. But you're here in San Antonio, and I definitely got to ask you this question because, like I said, we've gotten away from the ownership as being business owners, but we had synergy this year when we say buy Black.
Absolutely.
We had created a lot of synergy.
Absolutely.
And for my viewers, we created a lot of synergy when we say buy Black.
Yes, sir.
And we still have a lot of Black businesses, not just in the state of Texas, but throughout the country. Why is it so important to support Black businesses, Mr. O'Neal?
Ron Busby is the president of the U.S. Black Chamber. He likes to say, in order for America to be strong, you got to have strong Black businesses.
Correct.
In order to have strong Black businesses, you got to have strong Black chambers.
Right.
And in order to have strong Black communities, you got to have strong Black businesses. Why? Because it's like you said, it's 2018, but first job opportunities are with people that look like you.
Correct.
So Black businesses hire Black people. We like to say if there's 2.3 million Black-owned businesses in the country, if we support them to a level that they can hire one more person,
right,
it would cure Black unemployment in this country.
Yeah, that would be a huge number.
It would wipe out every able-bodied person that wanted to work in Black America.
Yeah, and that's the key.
That's the key.
That wanted to work.
That wanted to work. So I like to think, Keith, that we're in the quality of life business. And so when businesses are profitable, when they're successful, they pay more taxes, they hire more people. The people that they hire buy cars, clothes, send their children to college, new mortgages, and it's reflected in what those communities look like.
Right.
And so it's just absolutely critical. And if if you, my father was in the military, so I often find myself thinking in war terms. If you rely on your enemy to sustain you, you just got beat.
Yeah, it's a loss. It's a loss. It's a loss. Yeah, it's a lost game.
So if black businesses aren't successful and aren't profitable and aren't able to engage that other 95 cents of expenditures that we make, I should just go find me a beach or something.
Yeah.
You know, 'cause it's all over.
Well, you know, you hit it on the head, Mr. O'Neal. Social economics is always a challenge, even in the black community. One of the things that I've been noticing that is really scary throughout the country, Chicago, Detroit, and we can name a bunch of other cities, and even here, is when they go into the community and they start putting all these check cashing and these title for loan companies and all of these different organizations and companies that come into our community and have all of these different high interest rates. And it's all because, you know, some of the things in the dialogue that we're having right now when we talk about social economics and resources and opportunity. What has to change before we wrap up?
We have to understand that the presence of those kind of exploitative industries in our communities, as those check cashing and other kinds of just egregious exporters of capital, but all businesses that are not native to the communities that they're extracting resources from.
Right.
We're exporting money.
Yeah.
And if we lament the fact that the black dollar does not turn over in our communities, it can't possibly be because the first place you spend it, it goes out of our communities.
Yeah.
There's no way for our community to benefit from the actual spending that we do. And so when we begin to view the marketplace as, again, not as competition necessarily, but view it as what it is. It is the place that money is exchanged. And if all of your money is going in one direction, you know, if you know, when folk expound the fact that black folks are a $1.3 trillion spending engine,
and we are,
those
numbers are solid.
They did not say that we were a $1.3 trillion saving engine,
right,
or a $1.3 trillion inside their community that they're not letting out. You see?
Yeah.
So the value to our expenditure is not to us, it's to everybody that's maximizing our expenditure.
And they really are.
Oh, man.
And we allow people to come into our community that open up businesses and they take their money out of the community. And it happens all over the country. Every day all over the country. Mr. O'Neal, how can people really stay connected with what the Chamber, the Texas Chamber is doing, also here with the San Antonio Chamber? If they want to stay connected with you, get more information on what the Texas Chamber is doing right here in our state, how can they get connected?
We're at TAAACC, T3A's2C's, www.t3a's2c's.org.
Okay, please tell my viewers.
TAAACC.org. Our office is in Austin, Texas. We're about 2 blocks from the Capitol, 512-535-5610. We want you to support the work that we do.
Correct.
But support your local chambers as well. And now you've got 2 black chambers in San Antonio.
We do.
They need support, and they need for people to understand that the mission that they're on is for the benefit of business owners in this community. And so that's, again, there's from Abilene to Longview, from Corpus Christi to Odessa. Wherever we go as an organization, we'll hear the same thing: access to capital, access to opportunity.
Well,
we need more business.
We do need more capital.
Yes, yeah.
We need more business. We do. Yeah. We really do. That's what we're lacking. Mr. O'Neal, thank you for taking the time out to talk to me and my audience here at BVN. Mr. Charles O'Neal, our president right here at the Texas Chamber, right here in the state of Texas. I want to thank him for taking the time out to talk to us right here at Black Video News. We'll see you next time. As always, be encouraged.